to the spot like Phil Collins sang it. Fresh new fade with the mustache banging. I know you wanna know where the fuck I'm from.
Check it out real quick. Episode 19 with the homie Shadow out of
Kettleman City.
What?
Kettleman City?
Yeah, Kettleman City, my bad. Shit, I was telling him it's somewhere out the 5.
Yeah, it's small town.
Yeah. I remember I was driving by back from LA one day and I stopped by and I was like, hey, I'm right here at the gas station.
Yeah, I remember. A lot of people do that all the time. They'll be passing by the I-5. They'll be like, hey, I'm right here. Next thing you know, it's like, well, I'm over here, you know. So
I've been past there before a few times and shit. Like I've been to Hanford before.
Yeah, well,
Hanford's right?
Hanford's on the other side.
Oh, okay.
It's on the other side. It's closer to the 99.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's closer to the 99.
So, Shadow, I know you did a couple. We did a couple terms in prison.
Yeah.
How many terms you do?
I did 2.
You did 2.
I did 2.
So, before prison, did you ever spend time in the youth authorities or anything like that, or juvenile system?
Well, I actually grew up in the system.
Okay.
I went from juvenile hall, did a couple of times, went in and out of juvenile hall.
Uh-huh.
You know, just being a knucklehead, and then the Kings County Juvenile Hall finally got tired and said, ship you off to C.Y.A. Went to C.Y.A. when I was about 15 and a half, close to 16, got out when I was close to 19. Was out for like a couple months, 2-3 months, and then got my case and got my first prison term.
Oh, so you went to C.Y.A. when you was probably like, what, 16, 17?
Yeah,
okay.
16.
All right. Yeah, shit. Yeah, some people start off kind of late.
Yeah.
I started that system in 1988. I was 10 years old. First time going in there, and I didn't get out of it until 95.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I was staying in that system the whole time, doing like the hall time, the ranch. Did two terms in the ranch, and then the last time I did 3 years in the Y alternative. But so what was your cases back then as a juvenile?
For juvenile was like fighting. My first one was for burglary. Me and some dude I grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, we broke into a store. You know, he was a little older than me. And like we didn't have no money, no nothing. It was all like, hey, let's go to the store or whatever. We went to the store. You know what I mean? A bunch of little knuckleheads and you know, and that was my first time. We both went to juvenile hall. And then I did a couple months. He did a couple months. We got out. And then it was just like, after that, it was just like a wrap. Like, it was just an in and out thing. And then, like I said, they finally got tired. Kings County finally got tired of my ass. And they said, you know what, we're going to ship you off to C.Y.A. Did a couple of years, you know, and met a lot of people from all over, and yeah.
So before we'll talk about that. But you raised with your mother and your father?
I was only raised with my mom and my grandma.
Your mom and your grandma?
My mom and my grandma.
Where's Pops at?
He in Mexico. He got
okay.
deported. He got deported years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he got deported.
All right. You guys still keep in touch?
I used to, but then, you know, throughout the years and throughout the time, you sit back and you think, like, you know what I mean? When my mom was struggling and me and my siblings were struggling and we didn't have a father figure and all that stuff, it's like, why am I going to waste my time spending time, you know what I mean, talking to a stranger when now that I'm an adult, you know what I mean, now he wants to be in my life, you know what I mean? So it's like...
Oh, he's trying to reach out now?
Yeah, now he wants to reach out. He wants to...
Well, I kind of relate to that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you do? You're gonna accept his?
No, I actually a couple of years ago I went to Mexico. I actually went to Mexico a couple of years ago. I was at my aunt's house in Mexicali, and he got there with my older brother, and I didn't acknowledge him. I dissed him. I gave him my back. You know what I mean? Because you start hearing things. You know what I mean? You start the way he treated my mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
kinda
like
hard,
you know, you're like, why am I gonna talk to somebody that treated my mom like she was low class, you know what I mean? Like nothing. So it's like, I'm cool.
Yeah, I think, if you don't mind me saying, I think you should give him a chance, because there's two sides of the story.
Yeah.
And not that your mom's lying, but she could have, you know, perceive things at a different
Yeah.
angle than he did, and that's just where, you know, that it takes two to tango type shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I understand that. It's there's more into it because when I first reached out to him, you know what I mean, it was like he only wanted for business wise, and it
Right.
was I was like, nah, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
I ain't your puppet, you know what I
Right,
mean? I'm a
right,
grown
right.
man, you know what I
Right.
mean? I'm not gonna do your work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know, so there's more into it. Yeah, I understand about the because we both, you know what I mean, relationship wise and all that stuff. We already know, you know, there's always two sides of the story of every situation.
Yeah.
So it's like, but mm, my personal thing with him, you know what I mean, through business and stuff, it's like it didn't go well, and then, so I was like, I'm good, you know, and
Okay.
and the way you know what I mean, the way you think, you know what I mean, once you do me dirty, that's you know what I mean,
Yeah.
I'm good off you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, you know, and another note that you should know about, like what I thought about with like with my dad, because I didn't meet my dad until, well, I met him when I was a kid. When I was like 8 years old, 7,
Yeah.
something like that. And I remember talking to him a few times, but he was never like, you know, I can't blame myself for losing contact with him. I have to blame him, you know. So obviously, like I know he wasn't really like a man of his, you know, that with values,
Yeah.
you know, because he should have been pulling up and he should have never lost contact, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and there's just no excuse. But when I got older, I got a hold of him when I was like 25, 26 for this reason, because it's part of my history. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
curious to see what he looked like, what his kids look like, you know, what his family looks like, because there's other people there. That's my blood. You know, I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
see it. You know what I mean? And you never know, there might be something good out of it. And for the history part of it, because you have kids, you want to, you know, let them know. You know, they want
Yeah.
to like you want to be able to connect the dots. You know what I mean? So that's why I did it, and it was good, man. You know, he turned out to be a good dude. You know, like you know, he had you know, a bad upbringing too, and went through the system and all that. But to each his own, man. Like me, like I did the same shit, but I never let go of my kids, man. You know?
Yeah.
Like that. People say, they say, do you have kids?
Yeah, I got 4 kids. I got four
Okay.
kids.
So this this gonna make some sense then. People say, I remember always hearing this, like, don't stay together for the kids, because that's gonna be like toxic. It's gonna be in a toxic for the kids and for you and for
Yeah.
her. But that's the only reason why you stay together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These kids didn't ask to be born. It's not about me and her no more. It's about
Yeah.
them now. Hopefully we can figure each other out down the line. But right now we're gonna focus on these kids. You know, and you never know, things might work out, you know, with you and her, but that's not even the goal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's for them right now.
Well, that's how it was with my ex-wife when I was married to my ex-wife for 18 years,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. It was you know what I mean, Royal Rumble all the time. You know what I mean, and I did it for my kids,
Yeah.
and because I already know, you know what I mean. Growing up without a dad, I didn't want my kids to grow up without a dad. That was in my brain, but you know what I mean. When it just gets worse and worse, and it just stuff just starts escalating, it's just like getting ugly.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. I'm sorry, kids, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it's time to go. And
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, so you split up with the mom? Like,
Yeah, with my kids' mom, my older kids' mom, we
oh,
you
so
know,
you have two sets of baby
I
mamas?
have 3 baby mamas.
Oh shoot. Shadow's out there playing, boy.
I actually have 3. I got
Yeah.
I got my 2 older one, and then I got 2 1-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, you know, some people got to get up and go. I mean, some people can work
Yeah.
it out. Some people is not fortunate enough to be able to stay there and tough it out. You know, whether they're living with their parents and you were still staying with them and their parents or whatever like reason it is. But I was fortunate enough to stick it out with mine. And,
Yeah.
you know, and things turned out right. You know, not every day is perfect, but you know, hey, you know, that's what life's about. You know?
Nothing's ever perfect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've been through it. I've done it. You know what I mean? And you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, and I see. You know what I mean? I've been to your house. You invited me a couple
Yeah.
years ago to your pad to go barbecue and all that. I see how structured you have your stuff, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I like how
you,
you put that. Yeah, 'cause
you,
that's what it is.
that's
I run a
'cause-
structured household.
Yeah.
It ain't easy being the dick of the house.
No, but it's also good to be a dick
Yeah.
to your kids because just like my 2 older ones, you know what I mean. I I was an asshole, especially to my son. He played football too, just like your son did.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? They're not out on the streets gang banging. They're not on the
Right.
streets doing
Right.
drugs. They're not doing none of that stuff. They're walking a straight line. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're perfect kids or they never gave me a hard time, but you know what I mean? My kids ain't, you know what I mean? They're not on drugs. They're, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're not locked down in the system like I was. So it's
Yeah, you figure you whoop their ass, or however you got to do it with your words or whatever, before some stranger has to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's one thing it's hard to explain to females. Is like, do you think I'm being hard on them? Like,
Yeah.
this is out of love. There's gonna be a stranger fucking slamming his ass on the walls, throwing him in the fucking room, butt naked, and leaving him with no fucking food for hours. And you think and this is a stranger. You don't know what that's gonna do to that kid.
Yeah,
It's gonna make
yeah.
him feel like really violated, and there's nothing we could do about it.
No, and it does, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's, you know, about being incarcerated, you know what I mean? And especially you, like, you go from juvenile hall, being a knucklehead, you know what I mean? Fighting in juvenile hall, you know what I mean? Whoever it is, you know, whoever you fight with,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You go to YA, and then YA, people are just fucking, they don't care, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, you go to the joint, and you're like, damn.
So when did you start rapping? When you was a YA or juvenile hall, or when you went to joint?
When I was young, like in the YA time, like before I went to YA, but I never had the money to do it.
Right,
you know what I mean? I grew up, you know what I mean, grew up poor, and then I went to the joint when I got locked up. You know what I mean? I decided just to do it, but I did it just for. At first, I was just doing it for the fun of it. You know what I mean? Not nothing like you know what I mean? Especially like in like the way I was doing music. You know what I mean? I knew I was not gonna make it big. You know what I mean? Like become a mainstream person because the shit that we, you know what I mean, we rap about. You know?
Yeah,
and,
not everybody thinks like Hollywood. Like, to be honest with you, man, I'm the same way. I just do this as a hobby.
Yeah.
I didn't come in here thinking I was gonna be some kind of buddy. Like, that's I see people act like that though, and I trip out on them how they get down. I'm like, damn, dude, you really think like you made it because you got some followers and some like. You're still poor, homie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have 1 million views, but you're still fucking poor. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
struggling. You know?
I see that all the time, bro. And I talk to a lot of people. You know what I mean? I talk to so many people on the daily, you know, and we talk about stuff like that. You know what I mean? I see it through the internet. You know what I mean? People arguing on the internet. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? I laugh at stuff like that, bro. You know what I mean? And then people are doing each other dirty over music, and it's like, bro, you're really gonna put your music before your friendship or for your homie? You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. I've seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it from back in the days till now. The way the music is going.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, it's a lot of change.
Yeah.
It's a lot of change, you know, but I mean, what can we do about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you think about how you said people are arguing on the internet? Like,
you want my opinion?
Yeah.
My opinion about it is, okay, the way I see it, people arguing, or, you know what I mean? You got, okay, I live in the center of California, you know what I mean? You got people that live up north, you got people that live down south, you know what I mean? They live, what, 5 hours, 6 hours away from each other. If I can't get a hold of you, I'm not going to talk about you. That's my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm going to talk about somebody, it's because we live next door to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm gonna sit here and say something disrespectful about you, it's because one day we actually gonna see each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I feel. You know what I mean? And it's sad. The sad part about all this stuff right here, bro, is the fact that you let one person blow up the fire. You know what I mean? One individual threw some gasoline into a fire and blew it up.
Yeah.
And
what are you talking about? Adam 22?
Adam 22, like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy let another man fuck his wife, and you're gonna listen to somebody like him? Like, come on, bro. Like, how you gonna respect somebody? You know what I mean?
People gotta understand, like, entertainment, this is just all entertainment, and but we're like I know what you're saying, because some of this shit's real life, right? And you're playing with people. That's why I talked about this on I don't know, a couple episodes ago, and I was like, I think that's why a lot of OGs, and not even just OGs, even youngsters that are seasoned, step back from it because they don't think selfishly. They think for themselves and their
Yeah.
kids. Like, I'm not gonna just put unnecessary drama to me and my family. It is what it is. We are who we are. But what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're still. That's just like walking into a bar, calling everybody out. You know what I mean? Like, why are you bringing that unnecessary drama to you?
Exactly.
Are you a J cat or what?
Exactly.
Like, is this what you come out here for? To fucking get stabbed and the bottles broke over your head? Because you're not untouchable. You know what I mean? You know, and it's like,
No,
and
and
if people crack me up when they see somebody get cracked or blood, you know, spilling from somebody, and they get all like, oh, look at that, look at that. Like, if they never seen it before, like, the only people get excited about that is people that never seen that before. Me, when I see that shit, it's like, man, I turn the other cheek. Like, I've
yeah.
been seeing that shit my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? That's not even cool no more. I'm like, I already know what's up with that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
I have too. You know what I mean? Being in prison, you know what I mean? Spending the couple terms I did in prison, you know what I mean? You see it all. You know what I mean? Removals. You see people get thrown over the tears.
Yeah.
You see it all. You know what I mean? And you learn to give a blind eye and walk away and just be like, "Oh, shit. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
me. So fucking
But for the most part, with this going back and forth thing with the internet thing, some of it's beneficial. You know what I mean? Some of
yeah,
it because it's gonna knock doors down there. But like a couple, like, yeah, fuck you, that's cool. But then I see some people, because you know everybody's watching everything now.
oh yeah, yeah,
Mexicans
yeah,
from down south, up like all over the place, and I see them just talking about each other, like even their own people, and it's like, hey, shut the fuck up. Like, dude, nobody wants to hear this shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I opened up this channel that I thought I was gonna hear something. It's always just it got out of control. It's like, damn, homie, like you showed your hand to the whole world. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you just cry about everything, you know?
And I talked to a couple other people, and like my boy Cisco from Leemore, he just filmed my video not too
Mhm.
long ago. He Me and him talked about it before, and
Yeah.
I talked to other people, and I believe it's because we're old school
Yeah.
and our brains are on a totally different level.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Back in the days, like when rappers were out, like Woody, um, let me see, Darkroom Familia, um, when Cisco first came out, Sunny Boy, you know what I mean? When they first came out, you know what I mean? We didn't spend time on the internet trying to like nobody spend they didn't waste their time talking about somebody that they're never gonna get a hold of. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
well, they didn't have that. They didn't have that opportunity either back
yeah,
then.
that too.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, the way I see it from my prison mentality,
Mhm.
you know, even though I haven't been in prison for over 12, 13 years, but the way I see it is a window warrior. You know what I mean? And that's a window warrior in
You
my
know,
eyes, because in prison, if you're talking out of your window and the door's cracked and you're not
Yeah.
doing nothing about it, now you're just getting removed from the yard. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, no, I'm not saying that nobody's gonna do anything if they see each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But to my experience of life, of what I've seen, you know what I mean, and that's why sometimes I sit on the internet and I laugh about a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you know what I mean. Are you really gonna, when the shit really hits the fan? Are you really gonna do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I seen that shit in juvenile hall, man. You know, as a kid, you seen that shit. You seen that shit from the beginning. You
Yeah.
know, and the same people in juvenile hall that did that, they're doing it in prison. You know, woofing all that shit, and then as soon as you see them come out to set up and shit, they just act like they don't see nobody and shit.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, I mean, it is what it is with that. But hey, let's talk about when you first went to YA. What was your experience and shit? Like, walk us through that.
When I first went to YA, like when you first walk in, you know what I mean, you see
You was 16?
I was 16, 15 and a half, 16 when I went to YA, but
Okay.
you now you have, because I grew up in juvenile hall, you know what I mean, and you know everybody, you know what I mean, in juvenile hall, everybody from Kings County knows each other, so you know what I mean, because it's all a bunch of different little towns, you know what I mean. Leemore and Hanford are like the biggest towns, you know what I mean. Then you got Kettleman City and Avenel, which You know what I mean? Armona and Corcoran were, you know what I mean? They're small little towns,
Yeah.
but then everybody meets. But then you go to Y.A. and you got people from San Jose, you got people from Salinas, you got people from different parts of the Bay Area, all parts of the valley, like Visalia, Fresno, all over the place. Then you got everybody's just, you know what I mean? You got north, south, you got Bulldogs, everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody's all together, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, it's like there's no rules. It's not like prison where you can't, you know what I mean? You can't just go and hit somebody because you got, hey, you know what? I got up in a bad mood. I'm gonna go beat up this dude. And YA is like, you know what I mean? And especially like you got like the Southerners that live, like the upstaters that live up north from different areas. You know what I mean? If you didn't like them, you know what I mean? You meet people from Stockton or, you know what I mean? There were some Southsiders that came from Kings County, you know what I mean? And you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna smash them, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a totally different thing, you know what I mean? And when I got in there, you meet a lot of people, you know what I mean? I met a lot of good people too. And YA, I met people from all over the place, you know? And you know what I mean? You got your good and your bad because you learn.
But what was your thoughts though when you walking in? You know, you walking in this place, you know, what was your thoughts? Like walk us through you know, when you first, you know, like a little story. You know what I mean?
When I went in, it's like you don't know what's gonna happen because you hear all these stories. You know what I mean? You got your older homies that's been to YA, and you hear these stories, and then you hear different stories from from different people. And then when you walk in, you know what I mean? It's like I tell you, you know what I mean? It's like you got to be ready for whatever because you got a bunch of knuckleheads that don't care about nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like literally, they don't care. You know what I mean? We're little kids, 15, 16. There's also 13-year-old kids that. You know, and so you just gotta walk and you just live every day, you know what I mean? And like a little prison, but with no rules. You know, and so you first meet your first lockdown, you know what I mean? Now you know how it feels to, you know what I mean, to starve. You know what I mean? You got your little group of people that have each other's back and you know what I mean, you try to do for each other.
Well, how long did it take you to get to your group?
Fast, good. It was fast because, and you know what I mean. They'll come and hit you up. Hey, where you from? Who you are, and all that stuff. And you just tell them. You know what I mean.
I'm saying because this is camera. There's people watching the shit. I know all about it. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like you know, people want to hear the story.
Yeah, well,
Shadow story.
you know what I mean. People will come and hit you up. You know what I mean. Like I said, at that time, I don't know how it is now. Honestly, when I got jammed up, it was actually a bulldog and a northerner that jammed me up, and so from that day on, it was just like you know what I mean. You know you go with your group statement, you know, and you go who you are, and then from that day on, it just went from there. You know what I mean. And matter of fact, my homie from Watsonville. He messaged me on Facebook not so long ago, and he was all like, "What's up, bro?" I didn't remember who he was until he told me who he was, and then we were like, "Oh, I remember Warren YA, this and this and this and that, and all what?" And you know what I mean. From that day on, bro, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like he was like, you know what I mean. Whenever you come to this way, just let me know, and it brings you memories. Like damn, you know what I mean. Like that long, it's been that fucking long that I've been there.
Was you close with your mom?
For somebody, yeah, kind of, you know what I mean, like, because I didn't really grow up with my like after 13 years old, it's like when everything went down,
Right.
you know what I mean. So,
Oh, so was your mom visiting you?
yeah, she tried, you know what I mean. She tried a couple times. My older brother, he came and visited me. And other than that, you know, it was just like, you know, you're pretty much on your own, you know, because my mom wasn't like wealthy to go all the time.
Do you ever, was there ever any times and shit while you're sitting there doing that time of why were you depressed?
To be real with you, at that age, you don't think like that. You know what I mean? You don't.
I mean, I did.
No,
I got depressed and shit. Like I mean, I don't know. This had nothing to do with being there. It was just, you know, you seen a lot growing up. You got, you know, your house raided and eviction notices and stuff like that. So you kind of develop the worst case scenario all the time and shit. So, like, I would be depressed if I'm in my room, but when they let me out, I'm like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like as long as I got somebody to talk to and shit, you know.
See, I was in Norwich Close, and the Y was it's an open dorm, so it's like you don't have time.
You don't got time to
You
sit
don't
there.
got time to think. You know
Right,
what I mean? It's an
right,
open
yeah.
dorm. It was all open dorms, you know,
Yeah.
and so you either, you know what I mean, you don't. You just don't have
Yeah, no, you're
no
right, you're
time to
right.
think, you know.
But you
There's
remember
movement. There's a movement all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, how about in juvenile hall? Was you guys ever? I don't know how your juvenile hall was. You guys had cells?
We had cells. We had
How
cells.
about in there?
And juvenile hall, well, I was what, 12, 13 years old when I went to juvenile hall. I was a young kid, bro.
Mhm.
And, you know, I remember from waking up on a Saturday morning, eating some cereal and watching cartoons. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in juvenile hall, you know what I mean, at 13, 12, 13 years old, just like, damn, what the hell am I,
So
you
did
know?
you get depressed in there?
And there, yeah, you kind of do, but then you know what I mean. You're a young kid and you're trying to be a Mr. Macho.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to be tough and you're trying to act like
Shit,
you know
nah,
what I
I
mean.
had the
Nothing.
hardest motherfuckers sailed up with. Never like, damn, homie, this sucks. This
No,
sucks and shit.
yeah,
Like looking out the window on visiting day and shit. Man, my mom ain't coming. My mom ain't coming. The hardest gangsters, like they won't even trip on the gang. Like they just got in a fight last night, and
yeah.
that's the last thing they're thinking about right now. They're looking out the window, like, "Where's my mom?" You know?
No, yeah,
Eh,
you think
you
like
know?
that, but when I was in juvenile hall, my mom used to always come and visit because it was there. She's driving what 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
away, so it was easy for her.
So you see, well, that's a good point because when a mother and a father has a kid in juvenile hall in the system, it's important to communicate with them and
Yeah,
visit them because they could lose themselves and start developing a whole new character. Well, they will. And like me, I got out of that system and I didn't even have no. I didn't even care to hug my mom no more. Like I
yeah.
was already detached. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's important. And like sometimes it can make you stronger in there, it can make you like, oh, I ain't tripping, like, as long as my mom still loves me, I don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
nobody else.
And that's pretty much the way you think because pretty much you teach yourself to be strong. You teach yourself
Yeah.
to be strong mentally, and you know what I mean. You have and sad to say, you lose your feelings about everything. You know what I mean. That's really sad, and I think that's why I was strict on my kids. Going back to the kids side, I think that's why I was strict on my kids because I didn't want my kids to experience that life. You know what I mean? Because it actually sucks. You know what I mean to live that way, and especially like you say, having a stranger tell you when to get up, you know what I mean, when you could eat and all that stuff. I didn't want that with my kids because I've experienced it.
Yeah, so if you so yeah, you did get depressed, that ain't a good feeling.
Yeah,
So once you get out of you got out of YA, what, 18?
18. Yeah,
And then
18.
what year, and then how old was you when you went to prison?
When I went to prison, I was probably about to turn 20 when I went to
Damn,
prison.
that's young as shit.
when I
but we
went,
but we thought we knew what we were doing at 20 on.
yeah, it was a fucked up situation. You know what I mean? I was arrested for something I didn't have nothing to do at that time. You know what I mean? It was just people were pointing out names, but since I'm from a small town
Yeah.
and nobody knew who was who,
Mhm.
but since a lot of us had a bad rep already, you know what I mean? They took the so-called victims a word and they arrested a bunch of us. You know what I mean? And I actually beat that case, but then I got a assault on an inmate while I was in the county jail.
So you went to the pen from county?
Yeah, I went from the pen because they were gonna release me from the county because I beat the case that they arrested me for. And then because
So you're getting ready to go home.
yeah, I was ready to go home, but then I got an assault on an inmate. So they brought and instead of for them
Okay.
for them dismissing that case because I had enough evidence I was not involved into what I got arrested for.
You got cocky and thought it was all good, huh?
Yeah, and so all the homeboys are going to the pen. You know what I mean? The way I see it is the people I grew up with, you know what I mean? Everybody's going to the pen. You know what I mean? All these guys, they got 6 years, 7 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We young, dumb, 18, 19, 20 years old. So I'm like, me being you know what I mean? Thinking like, okay, you know what I mean? All my brothers are going to the pen. You know what I mean? I want to go to the pen too. So that's how my brain was thinking. So the first, you know what I mean? And well, I picked up the case for assault on an inmate. And
So what was it, a 245?
yeah.
I mean, was it GBI? Did the person get
GBI
hurt?
or
Okay, so
GBI
that's a
used a weapon.
245.
Yeah,
So,
I used a weapon on him.
oh
So
yeah.
that's what they say. I used a weapon
Oh
on him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what they sentence you to on that?
They gave me 2 years. 2
2 years. That's
years,
it.
dude. 2 years, because that was my first term. 2 years with a strike.
But what was the first offer? Like the offer wasn't bigger.
The offer was, I think it was that I'm 40. I was like, who knows how long. Um, they believe they offered me 4, but my
Nah.
lawyer said no because it was my first term.
Yeah.
And then so they gave me
Just 2 flat.
two flat.
Damn, that ain't shit.
Yeah, 2
Oh, you
flat.
probably just scratched that dude.
Yeah. 2 flat.
Yeah.
And so it was just like what they pretty much wanted to do was
So you
give
just
me
went over there for like a year then, right? A year and some change?
a year and a little over a
Yeah.
year. And fucking went to Soledad. They sent me to Soledad level 3. And
So let me ask you this. When you first get there to Soledad, did you feel like, did you still have those youngster thoughts, or was you like, man, I got to get myself in check? Like things are looking serious right here.
to be real and honest with you, I at that time I don't think I had any type of thoughts of anything just based on, because it's like my thing was like I had a young kid's mind where I was like, fuck, I made it to the big times. You know what I mean? It's like when
like
a
you
kid,
accomplished something.
yeah, I accomplished something. Like just like if somebody, which is it's a sad thing, bro. You know what I mean? It's a sad thing to even think like that.
Well, look at how old you were, bro. I think anybody that goes there at that age is gonna be like, all right, look, shit, I woke up today, I'm here. It's like, okay, this people at home gonna look up to me now, type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you try to go there now, how you think you gonna feel?
Me now, I ain't trying to get locked up.
Dude, wait, hold on, keep it real. All right. He said, me, not. So, but if you go there now, keep it real. You're 40 years old right now?
40.
Okay. Do you honestly, a honest thing, if you get booked in right now and they read you your rights and they tell you, you're looking at a 245 and a GBI, whatever, would you be depressed as soon as they book you in?
If would I be depressed? I think I'll be like, it depends what was the situation for.
No, you're going to the pen. You got 245. You got a serious charge, and you're not going to beat it. I mean, whatever. You're locked up. I mean, this situation at you.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're 40 years old. You're working full time. You got this family going on. You're established more as an adult. You know what you've been through, and you're about to go and waste some time. You know what I mean? It's gonna be an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Or people are watching, homie. You're gonna be honest, or you're gonna go in there and act like you don't give a fuck.
To be real, I probably will be stressed in the beginning because I got my boys. You know what I mean? I got 2 boys because my second term, I had my other 2 kids, my 2 first kids.
Yeah.
They were already born. You know what I mean? When I went back to prison. You know what I mean? And it did suck because especially when you got close to your kids, and the next thing you know, you're getting arrested for a gun charge. You know what I mean? And they're giving you all these years for a gun charge.
Yeah,
and
Shadow, it's not
if I
about
would go back in, if I would go back in now that I have my 2 kids, yeah, I probably will be like, fuck, But then in a different mindset, it's like, what I mean, now you got to get institutionalized. You got to get that life.
That all that goes without being said. What I'm saying is like, you got to feel depressed and hurt inside that you let these kids down, and now you can't be there to support them and mentally, physically, and emotionally, all that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Not about you. You're gonna adapt and whatever. You know what I mean?
That's where
you're gonna be happy on commissary day and all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. Well, that's where I'm getting to is like, yeah, in the beginning when get another GBI or whatever you go to prison for, whatever you get locked up for, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
If you get knowing that well, I got 2 kids. You know what I mean? I have this family going on. I had a job. I had everything going on I had everything good going for myself. Then get locked up again, and you're just like, fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? What the fuck was I thinking? Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people will. And I'm like I said, you know what I mean? There's a lot of good people that's been locked up, and they're doing good. They're doing really good.
Well, the reason why I asked is I know a person with the normal state of mind is gonna be depressed.
No, yeah.
And those who don't are fucking JCats to me, and I can't respect people like that because you don't even care for yourself and your family. So how am I supposed to expect anything out of you? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, of course, if you do, you gotta do what you gotta do. But all that goes without being said. You know what I mean? But
No, yeah.
when you're there, you're there. But my question is more about like your state of mind, like your feelings. Like, are you considerate for others and shit? You know, like you're leaving your family behind. Do you feel like a loser? You know, like would that make you feel like that if that would happen? You know?
No, yeah, it'll make me feel like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll make me feel like, you know what I mean, I let everybody down. You know what I mean? My mom,
Right.
you know what I mean, my family,
Right.
everybody, I let everybody down.
Yeah.
You know, and because we had everything established.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had everything established. Everything was going good in our lives. And me being a dumbass and decided to just go back to fucking jail for whatever reason,
Yeah.
you know, but when you're in there, your mind kind of had to change.
Yeah.
You know, you've been there. A lot of people that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean, their mind, but you still worry about them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it just sucks because if somebody's going in there, that's why I don't put myself out there like that.
Yeah.
To get involved. And there's a lot of people I grew up with that have everything established, that's been into the system, that they don't put themselves out there in that type of environment.
Yeah.
Because we've already experienced it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
You know, I got this fucking case, man, when I was about 41 and a half or so. And I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like I was ashamed.
I bet.
I was embarrassed, dude, because, you know, I'm over here putting my kids through sports. I'm showing people the good I'm doing in life. And then here I am fucking going to, getting booked in to get my house raided, going through this shit, you know, getting my daughter's diaper searched for fucking weapons or whatever the fuck the cops thought they were doing. But I really felt like a loser at that time and shit. It wasn't more about, I didn't give a fuck about, like, I just felt like I let so many people down. You know what I mean? It was just a different kind of feeling, man. When you get a little older, when you're younger, you think that your uncles and your cousins, everybody's gonna be proud of you that you got locked up and,
Yeah.
and you made it through there because that's what we seen growing up. It's sad that that's what that was. Like all our heroes and nobody went to Harvard or anything.
Yeah,
Everybody went to
exactly.
prison.
Yeah.
Everybody went to fucking prison. You know what I mean? My grandma went to prison. My mom, I think out of all her 9 siblings, only one kid didn't go to prison. And that's my Aunt Annette. But all 8 of them went to prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I grew up in. But like as I got older, I was just like, I'm trying to do something different. But that goes to show you, because people be like, I heard people be like, hey man, you're too old to be going through that shit. I like little shitty comments on TikTok and stuff when they see my ankle monitor.
Yeah.
And the shit I was going through, and I'm like, dude, this old saying, it just comes back to haunt people over and over again. Like, hey, it could be me one day and you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Don't laugh at somebody now, because anything can happen. I didn't ask for this shit.
Yeah.
I did not ask for this. It's something just happened. I'm just a normal guy. Like those movies that there's 2 recent prison movies. I think one's called Felon, and there's another one where just a normal fucking white guy just living his life, wife and
going to
kids,
work and
shit happens.
Yeah.
So don't. Hey, though, you guys, if one of you guys watching this, and you're one of those ones who left that comment, like, don't knock nobody who gets locked up, because it's not everybody planned that. You know what I'm saying?
And you're right, about that, because like I said, a lot of people I grew up with, you know what I mean, that did hard time, you know what I mean. They did 6-7 years, you know what I mean. They violated a couple times after their 6-7 year term. Now they're established. You know what I mean. I got a good homie that I grew up with, like since we were kids. Oh boy, he has his own trucking business. You know what I mean. He makes good money, and we talk about that all the time. We talk about when we were kids, being stupid, running the streets, gang banging. You know what I mean, doing drugs, drinking, all this stuff. Till now that we're growing up, so it's like damn, what if something happens? You know what I mean? What if something cracks? You know what I mean? What if, you know what I mean? How would everything turn around,
Yeah.
And that's why I tell a lot of people, because a lot of stuff that I've been through, and a lot of stuff that me and people that I personally know, or people I talk to on the daily, on the comments, I mean on the DMs, that's actually been through things. You know what I mean? Like your brain starts thinking different. You know what I mean? And it's like I tell you, like me and a couple people, we see things and we're just like, damn.
You guys are evolving.
Yeah, and
It's nature. We're not trying to say we're better than nobody. This is just we're evolving, homie. We're growing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And we're not teaching you something that we're a master at. We're teaching you something that we experienced. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm not better than you. You ain't better than them. We're just showing you something that we actually learned the hard way from. You know what I mean?
and that's a good thing about it's like that the video you did the other day about, you know what I mean, changing, like sometimes it's good to change
circles.
friends,
Circle.
your
Yeah.
circle a little bit.
I mean, hey, if they're evolving with you, you know, fuck it, it's cool. But if they're not, like, you know, you just
and that's where the people I like the homies I grew up with, the ones I grew up with, that we have the same mindset. That's why we stay in touch with each other, because we don't we have our mindsets is the same. Like we want to take care of our family. We want to, you know what I mean, we are who we are.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean, deep in our heart and our brains. You know what I mean, we're never gonna let that go. That's us. You know what I mean, that's our lives. That's what we you know what I mean, we involved our lives in that. You know what I mean, nobody forced us to do it.
Right,
We
right.
made the decision
Right.
to do it. But you know what I mean, when you get educated by some good people, especially people that are never gonna see the streets again. You know what I mean, when they actually sit there with you and they educate you and they tell you, you know what I mean, this education, go home and go use it out there. You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of, like me, I'm a talkative person. You know what I mean? I get along with anybody, and that's where like a lot of the homies that I was locked up with this my last term, they that's what they threw it in my head. Like, bro, you go out there and use your brain, use your talking skills, and try to do something with it. You know what I mean? Don't go out there and be. And like I said, some of us I still keep in touch that I grew up with. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us split. You know what I mean? They some people, they went their own ways for you know what I mean, for whatever reason. But a lot of us still keep in touch. You know what I mean? And we still hang out together. You know what I mean? Whatever.
You guys share the same goals.
Yeah, we share the same goals and everything. And if somebody's getting in trouble, you know what I mean, if somebody does something stupid, you know what I mean, we like, damn, why'd you do that for? Just like you said, like you know what I mean, you're you know what I mean, you're old already. You know what I mean? Why are you still doing that shit?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't think for yourself no more. You know, you got people who depend on you now.
Yeah.
But like, no, that's a good point, man. You know, when you say you were getting gamed up by, you know, people who ain't ever coming home, I see you learn something from that. This is something I want to say is like, you need to listen to learn,
Yeah.
not just prepare your response. What a lot of youngsters do is they right away hear something and develop a impulsive response. And it's like, dude, you didn't even learn nothing. You didn't even hear me. Like, bro, I'm with you. I'm on your side, fucker. Like, I'm just trying to tell you what the fuck's around that corner. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, fuck. Like, you act like I'm going against you. Like, this is an attack on your character. No, bro, I was worse than you. You know what I'm saying? I was worse than you.
You see, in my little town, you know what I mean? Back in the days when I was growing up, and that's what I tell the youngsters now these days. Back in the days when I was growing, because I still talk to, you know what I mean? I acknowledge, you know what I mean? I acknowledge the young homies, you know what I mean? There's a lot of young homies that are growing up, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I acknowledge them. They're 20 years old. But their mind is sharp, bro. Like their mind is sharp. They're not my 20-year-old. Like they're not when I was 20, you know what I mean? I didn't give a shit. They're thinking like, okay, you know, we're gonna handle our business as adults, as parents, as whatever. If shit cracks and shit cracks, you know what I mean? Whatever happens. But that's why I respect these youngsters that are now, like the ones from my town, my hood. Their brain is totally different from a lot of us.
Well, thanks to you guys. You guys, you know, led the way. You know what I mean? You guys already did what you did, so they don't have to. You know what I mean? You're supposed to game them up.
Yeah,
you know
well, because there's youngsters, like you just said right now. There's youngsters that are fucking they're knuckleheads, bro, and they're like, oh, shut up, you know what I mean? You're an old man, you know what I mean? Whatever. They never tell me, but just in their brain.
I was that youngster. I didn't have a mother and father. My mom and dad was in and out of prison, so I didn't listen to shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was all like, damn, why did I still hear the voices of shit that I used to hear, like, that makes sense now. Like, damn, I wish I would have listened to that back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do, but then you use that negative stuff and you turn it into a positive, and then now, you give it to the young homies. Like you could be a homie,
Yeah.
you could be cool and be a homie and still better yourself. You know what I mean? You could still
Exactly.
you could better yourself. You could me or the way I see it is I try to teach, or I even on Facebook and even on Instagram, I try to preach like you could be a homie and still try to become something in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could try to become. I'd rather see my people become property owners. I'd rather see my
Right.
people come and be like, hey, Shadow, look at this, bro. I bought a car. It's under my name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not under my mom's. It's not under my girlfriend's or my wives or my baby mamas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or hey, look at check this out. I bought a house. That's why I want to see my people.
Yeah, now you could actually represent that neighborhood because you bought that house and nobody could tell you to move.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is what it is, man. Hey, but I got another off the wall question and shit. This is real talk. Like, I mean, like you said, you're right there in the middle. We've been listening to music. How long you been listening to rap music?
I've been listening to rap music for a long time. Easy,
So if you're 40, so you probably started listening to rap music what in the late 90s?
late night. Well, when I started going wild in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're a late 90 because
Yeah.
you were probably like what, like 12 in 95?
Yeah, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, I was already no lock doors at that age. I was already like, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I swear, yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about that, but yeah, right when I got out, some bunch of shit happened, and I couldn't believe I was like, damn, I just walked right into this shit again, like, you know what I mean? But things worked out. But is there any rappers from down south that stand out to you?
That down south,
Like besides all the just
bullshit
just
to the side.
yeah. Just as lyrical wise, the way they carry themselves and shit. Because I see a lot now. Like it's all over now. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I never really paid attention to be real with you. I never really paid attention to you. I mean, I never really paid attention to it, to them, to the ones down south. I never paid attention. But I've had family. They don't do it anymore, but they used to claim to be Southsiders.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, when we're young and dumb, you know what I mean, we used to go to their moms and my moms and all those where everybody's related.
Right.
They used to play like Night Out and
Yeah.
Mr. Shadow from San
Yeah,
Diego.
yeah.
They used to play all them, you know, and you hear their music, you know what I mean? Because you have, you know what I mean, you're at their house.
I heard all them and
You,
shit.
you're at their house, so it's like they're playing it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when they used to come to our house, we used to play homie music.
Yeah.
And we used to do it on purpose because we were dumb, you know? And, you know what I mean? You listen to it, and sometimes when you're on Spotify or, you know, Pandora, they play different type of music, and you like, what the hell?
Yeah, I have some homies who have family from down there, and they used to they're real close with them, and they go down there and the same experience you said. They would share each other's music and shit. And I used to do that with my cousins in Texas though, like in Dallas and shit. You know what I mean? But on my dad's side, I got a lot of family in LA and shit. Just we don't know each other. You know?
No, I got a lot of family in LA too. They're not like they're not into gangs, you know what I mean? It was just people that were more from the small town.
Yeah.
Like people from like my cousins that live in LA and all that. They're not involved. I actually have a stepbrother. Now we're going back to your dad and having kids.
Yeah.
I actually have a stepbrother that was a Southerner from San Diego.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but he became a Christian. He changed his life around, you know what I mean? And he, you know what I mean, it's like we say, you know what I mean, you don't ever forget where you come from, you know what I mean? And we have a cool respectful, you know what I mean, respectful relationship, you know what I mean? Like we don't bring that stuff apart. I met him in Vegas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We met and you know what I mean, and we got along and you know what I mean, he bought me a beer, I bought him a beer, but he, you know what I mean, it's like he's like, you know what I mean, I did fucking 15 years in prison, you know what I mean? I'm cool off that, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you got to respect that, you know.
Yeah, well, the reason why I asked you that about the rappers and stuff, because you know, we listen to all other race music and stuff. Why not listen to our own sometimes, right? So I came across some stuff, and there's this one dude. I'm not just gonna ask you. I'm gonna respond to it too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot. You know what I mean? There's one dude, YB. I think they call him YB. I don't know where he's from and shit, but his style's pretty dope. And he doesn't get on there like set tripping or anything like that. It's just I could tell he's just lyrical, just clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you should look it up and shit, like, you know, like trip out on that shit, you know.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
Yeah. I have respect for music. I don't, you know what I mean? I grew up, when people ask me what kind of music I like listening to, people who know me, I don't even like rap. Like, I'm into oldies, classic rock, R&B, you know what I'm saying? I love Mexican music. I don't even know I don't know the words all, you know, fluently, but
Yeah.
I know some of the songs so much where I know what they're talking about, you know what I mean? But I'm really into like all kinds of music, like blues, everything, you know. But and like rap too. There's a lot of rap I do like that catches my eye, like the sound, the
Yeah.
lyrics. You know, whether it's just the way he rapped the words around, or the way he organized the whole song, or just the beat alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a good appreciation for music itself. You know?
Yeah, when I was growing up, everybody was listening to black rap. You know what I mean? All the black rap like E40,
Yeah.
X-Rated, Brother Lynch, who else? Master P. I remember when Master P first came out with Ice Cream Man. I was like a nonstop repeat. Sibo.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Yeah.
later on down the years, that's when Darkroom Family came out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they already were out, but I started hearing their music. Low Down, Never from Low Down. They came out. All the 209 people, they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were all out. They started coming out, and then I heard Sonny Boy. You know what I mean? I grew up listening to Sonny Boy's music, you know, and then Cisco came out when he came out. So it's like, you're like, damn, like, you know what I mean? You got these black rappers, and then you got all these Mexican rappers.
Yeah.
So to go back to the Southern, like, I really never paid attention to it unless I went to my family's house, you know what I mean? But it just like it's like you say, it catches your ears, you know what I mean? And you just start listening to stuff, and then you just start liking some people's music, you know?
Yeah. No, without even putting any kind of judgment to where it came from, I just like I come across some shit and I'm like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
Shit's tight.
But I grew up listening. Well, I grew up, you know what I mean, Mexican family. You know what I mean, I'm Mexican myself. Even though a lot of people think I'm black or something like that.
Nah, you straight look Mexican.
But you know what I mean, my grandma, she used to get drunk and listen to Spanish music all the time, and we used to just, you know what I mean, people, Mexicans listening to Spanish music.
Yeah, I don't speak Spanish, man, but I'm just as Mexican as you, man. I was eating the same tortillas and shit like that growing up. Like my family speaks Spanish, but I don't have no family from Mexico, man. My family's all more like in the Colorado, all the states way out
those
there.
states,
Like, you know, we're like a lot of native relatives and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my grandma spoke Spanish fluently and shit.
Yeah.
But hey man, you want to share any kind of things you learned from being incarcerated and, you know, that you apply to in your life today? You know what I mean? That's positive.
Well, like, it's like you learn how to talk to people. That's one thing I've learned in this, but my second prison term.
What do you mean? Like, how'd you learn how to talk?
Learn how to communicate with people, how to use your words, how to not talk with a slang. You know what I mean? Like, you not try to talk, sound disrespectful, or you know what I mean, look in people's eyes, or just have a good adult conversation,
A humble approach.
You know what I mean, and just, you could turn a negative talk into a positive talk, you know, and that's because the older people that were educating me too. That's where we're going back to that, you know, and that's where I've learned to bring that out here. And now I talk to different people, like normal civilians. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like gang members and shit. I'm talking about normal civilians that they have no knowledge of this over here.
Right.
You know, and you gain respect from those people.
Right.
You know, and those people, they respect you because the way you talk, the way you approach them, and all of a sudden, I got to thank the people that educated me. You know what I mean? Those guys, they, and that's one thing I've learned in prison is.
Yeah, they didn't have to spend the time to talk to you. They could
No,
have just
they
told you the
didn't.
basics. And when somebody's doing that, I try to explain this to people all the time. When someone's sitting and taking the time to break it down to you, whatever subject they're on, that means they're trying to invest in you. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what a lot of them did. You know what I mean? And and they help. You know what I mean? That's one thing, like you say, like you asked. You know what I mean? That's one thing that really helped me.
That's right.
Going to the system.
That's a good one, man.
That's what really helped me. And now what 12, 13 years I've been out, and you know what I mean? I got friends, I got homies, friends, whatever you want to call them, that are not in gangs or never been in gangs, and you know what I mean? We cool, you know what I mean? And you get to learn, you get to know people, and you guys have the same mentality. It's just a different lifestyle.
Right.
Different lifestyle. You know what I mean? I grew up gang banging, they didn't. But our brains, you know what I mean? You sit down one-on-one, you talk to them, and it's like, what the hell? Like, okay, you know what I mean? Cool, you know what I mean? Now me and him are good friends. And I'm talking about white people. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd sit there and be friends with a white person, because I grew up in a Mexican community. I never thought I'd be friends with a black person that, you know what I mean? That has the same mind as you. And all thanks to the education that they gave you, that they gave me, you know what I mean? And I brought it out here, and then, you know what I mean? Obviously, you know what I mean? Obviously, I met other Mexicans that are not in the gangs, but they have family that are gang members, but they never got it. But I became real close with them, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I did learn, going back to the system.
Hey, who's in the parking lot? Is that your neighbor or what? Oh, okay. What do you call it? Yeah, man, that's a good point, man. You know, you learn something in there, and you applied it to real life. You know what I mean? Because hearing one thing is one thing, but applying it in real life is another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I just, man, that's very important, man. Not just sit there and just be like, okay, I hear you, you know, and go and push it on somebody else, but not apply it to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that shit. You could tell people who do that when they're just pushing all this. They're reframing literature that they learn, you know, in the pen, and they're just trying to come out and force it on you. It's like, man, you don't even fucking carry yourself right. Like, so you could tell that this person's full of shit. You know what I mean? Because they don't own up to it themselves. You know, they ain't fucking taking care of themselves. They're not, you know, thinking of
business,
thinking of getting their money, and just, you know, they just don't carry themselves well. You can just tell this person just coming out just trying to, you know, push what they learned, and for their own personal agenda. You know what I mean?
And I've learned another thing that I've learned from my last prison term is to read people right away. When I know when somebody's trying to outdo somebody, like I've learned, these people are no longer, you know what I mean? They're no longer with us. They these guys were trying to extort the youngsters. You know what I mean? Trying to take the youngsters' money, trying to do all this, and it's like, at first you sit back and thinking, you know what I mean? Like, damn. And it's like, now you got to push your weight on them and be like, hey, why are you bullying this person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you taking their money away? Why are you trying to use your prison mentality to take...
You mean on the streets?
Yeah, in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
In the streets.
Yeah,
that's why I was saying in prison, they teach you how to read people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's sad that I had to go to prison to learn that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's sad that I had to go to prison to learn that. And now you got people that came out of prison that try to use their prison. It's like you're going back, how people come out here and they have nothing going for themselves.
And it's just going to themselves.
And they're just thinking about themselves.
No, but the money they're trying to collect is going to their own pocket.
It's going into their own pockets.
That's what I'm saying, for their own personal agenda.
And so now they're bullying. Now it's like, okay, boom. Now, you know what I mean? Hey, hold up, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why these people are no longer, you know what I mean, in the circle, you know, because these people...
Yeah, there's people like that, man.
And it's sad, bro. And then, you know what I mean? And that's why I try to keep, I kind of keep the acknowledgement to the youngsters. Like, I try to reach it to the youngsters where, you know what I mean? Like, make sure you have a good brain. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody step on you. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody get over on you, because there's people out there do it. And that's why the youngsters from my town, from my hood, a lot of them, their majority of them are fucking, their brain sharp. Their brain sharp, and you don't, you know what I mean? They know when somebody's gonna get over them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's important, man. It's important to know.
Yeah.
You know? Well, any shout outs you want to give?
Just fucking thanks to everybody that's been rocking with me, man. You know what I mean? Everybody that's been, you know what I mean? I appreciate you. You know what I mean? For bringing me out here and doing this little interview thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, you know. People reach back, man. I answer my shit. I respond to my DMs. I don't play that Hollywood shit.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that's, you know what I mean, just been, you know what I mean. They always give me feedbacks on like music or whatever, you know what I mean. And that's why it's like you say, you know, I acknowledge the people that support me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, or sit here and you know what I mean, say, hey, you know what I mean, I like your music.
Yeah,
Or,
it
I
doesn't
like
take
whatever you
nothing to
do.
reach back, man. If you know, hey, it's it's called like putting your hand out and pulling a brother up a little bit. You know what I
And a
mean?
lot of that's another
You know what I
thing
mean?
that's sad, bro, is the fact that because I seen it and you know what I mean with my own eyes, and you know these people, they all these rappers or whatever they do for, and you got all these fans that are looking up to them and they dodge them. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like
Yeah.
you got money in your pocket or you're getting a royalty check
Yeah.
because of them.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Because of them,
Don't forget to
you're
look back.
yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not saying for you to go give them money or anything, but at least you know what I mean.
They don't want money. They just want you to say what's up to them. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
chop it up
exactly.
with them and
Yeah.
shit. You know, that's it, man. It's just be normal, man. Don't act like. You know, I know what you mean. How people act when they act like they don't see their DM. Like, motherfucker, you're not Mariah Carey. Like, fool, like you see that DM.
No, yeah,
You
yeah.
got your ringtone on, or you know what I mean. Come on, bro, stop
No,
that. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think that's why I only work with certain people. Only dedicate myself to working with certain people because those certain people. And I was talking to a homie from Union City about that because he's working a lot. You know what I mean? He's working and working, and he's consistent. And I tell him like, and a lot of people has been acknowledging him about his work and all his hard work. I tell him, I go, don't let that get in your brain, bro.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Take that and stride with it, and you know what I mean, work with it, and then you know what I mean, keep keeping your fans satisfied. You know what I mean? But don't let that, because you know what I mean, you're getting booked for shows and all that. Don't let, and he's, you know what I mean, he's a good guy. You know what I mean? And I tell that to everybody. You know what I mean? So remain humble. Humble is a word I always use.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean, a lot of people.
Well, you remain humble or you're going to get humble. I mean, life humbles you, whether if it's going to be individuals or it's going to be life itself. And you're going to be like, why me type shit one day. But real quick, Shadow, I'm going to close this up, man. We got to wrap it up. But one thing I want to point out to you is I see you, I follow you, and I see you on TikTok a lot. I see you're a normal person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could, you know, you've been through the system, the juvenile, the white, prison. You could be one of those guys out here trying to push a hard line and use that for your own personal advantage. You know what I mean? To get an advantage on others so they could look up to you like you're superior, but you don't. You know what I mean? And you're humble. And that goes back to being that. And I could see it, you know, a real motherfucker could see through that and see like, I know I could get you. We could go right now and we could just wild out on some people because you'll be with that program, right? But you know, you don't go out. You don't have to tell people that, or what do you call that? Present yourself on Instagram, you know, to prove it. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no reason
what I
to,
mean?
bro. There's no reason to.
Yeah, we're not on Instagram I'm on here to get money and just to learn some shit. You know what I mean?
And I got the same brain as you, and that's the reason why. That's the reason why I follow you, and that's the reason why I respect you, because and listen to when you talk, because our brains are probably kind of like the same, but because we want good for ourselves and not for ourselves, but we're not trying to take advantage of anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We want to help other people, and we want people to see, you know what I mean? Okay, these guys did it. Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
You know, and other people don't think like that.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation. I guess it's part of life. I don't know.
There's not everybody's gonna agree. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. So that's why I kind of learned to pull back a little bit. And for the most part, I'm not trying to get at nobody other than my own kids. When I talk, it's kind of like I know they follow me and they listen, so I'm hoping they learn by that, you know. And if there's other people that get it, and shit, that's even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not trying to correct nobody. Like I'm not trying to be nobody's daddy. I got my own kids to look after. You know what I mean?
No shit.
Yeah, man. But anyways, man, thanks for coming, man. We're out.